Welcome to the Faith in the Wild podcast, where the path is rarely straight, but always sacred. I'm Nicole Moran.
And I'm Angelica McCarthy. For 20 years, we've been walking this journey of life together, stumbling, rising, and discovering God's presence in unexpected places.
Today, we're creating space for conversation and reflection, inviting you to venture into the wilderness with us, because sometimes the most profound truths are found when we step off the marked trails and trust that we're exactly where we need to be.
So take a deep breath, open your heart, and join us as we explore what it means to have faith in the wild.
All right, we're good.
That looks way more exciting than all of my bins.
It actually
shipping
does.
Supplies. I at least organized them, though. I just got to get another thing over here, and then it'll be good.
I want to know what those IKEA bins are called.
Oh, yeah, it's the Brims, BRIMNES. They're actually really nice, and they're big, too. So it's kind of cool.
We have a legit arcade game over here. So eventually this is actually going to become a work-focused space. A basketball game's got to go. I want to get a moody rug and just bring this space to have a more centered craziness.
Yeah.
It'll still be crazy and lots of toys hanging out, but a little bit more mom vibe.
Less basketball.
Less basketball. We literally have 4 nets in this household.
Wow. Would that go in the garage?
We have a shed. It's a detached 1-car shed, and Zach and I painted the whole outside about 2 years ago. I did the inside last summer, and so we're like working on getting that organized because, you know, me and my DIY project. So now I have an actual working space. It's pretty much a she shed, if that's still a thing. I'm really excited. I'm ready to let go of all responsibilities and just keep designing my house. That's where I'm at. It's so fun. And I feel like we just dove into this week's episode like, and let's organize. Spring cleaning.
True though.
Right? There's something about organizing and cleaning stuff up. I spent a good amount of time with my hands in the dirt this weekend, which was very much life-giving.
Yeah, Joe's been looking at all the stuff that are starting to come through, and he was going to do that this weekend. And it's always funny because he'll say we as in doing this stuff. And lately I'm just be like, no, I've got other stuff to do. I love you, but the answer is no right now. And he always looks at me sideways like, I've got taxes to do. Let's balance this out. You out in the yard for a couple hours, me in the house doing our taxes for the couple hours. It works.
That's so fun. So, like the things you never knew brought you joy.
I know. I guess it comes with home ownership, right?
Yes, it does. That's how it came for me. So we spent last week with my parents who were dog sitting, and we were very glad to come home. It was hard. They had great welcoming space for us.
And you live how far from your parents?
20 minutes.
Yeah. It doesn't matter how far you go, whether it's 20 minutes down the street or 3,000 miles, there still is that sense of home.
Yep. Wow. And so when you think of that, right, it just grounds you and makes you appreciate it, whatever that looks like, right?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Truly.
Try to create. And then you have all the other stuff like things breaking and fixing. Why don't I rent?
Is that more stressful though? Renting?
I think so. I
would rather it just be mine and then figure it out versus renting.
When I first moved to Philly, almost a decade ago, less than 7, 8 years ago, I rented a house and it was great, perfect location. This was the house I ended up buying. I remember renting it and I was like, oh, there's so many things I need to fix. Can I paint? Can I do this? And I'm like, why don't I just buy it?
Yeah. And then you bought it and made it yours. That was always a great place to come to. Did you see that on your path? Or was it something like it kind of just came out of nowhere? Just how it came about, how long you were there, the memories you made, all the things. Did you plan it in your process, or was it just next thing you know, it was there?
That was one of those next thing I know and on there things. Like I grew up in Lancaster County, That's where I'm sitting now. I am back in Lancaster County, and it's very suburbs, rural type of land. There was a beautiful little downtown, but not a city by much means compared to your Philadelphias and your Pittsburghs and your Harrisburgs in the Pennsylvania landscape.
Yeah.
And out of grad school, once I got all done with that, I took my dream job that I envisioned myself in. I love neuro, brain injury, and I was working that. But I didn't enjoy North Jersey. And ended up, I'm not much of a North Jersey individual. Days on the turnpike and parkway just eat your soul. Bless anybody who drives on that daily. But I got to the point I was like, I need to change, but I didn't know where that was. I kind of opened my hands, and my faith wasn't quite as strong as it is now, but prayed about it and listened. I thought I was going down to North Carolina to live on the beach. God had other plans. Fast forward, I landed in Philly, and the situation with the house, I think that looking back is 100% God. I didn't have it on my books. I thought I was going to live on the beach. San Diego, North Carolina, I would have been happy with either. But moved into a city. My mom's like, I would never have pictured you there, because I was always like, I live in a city. I'm in the city, and I spent a lot of time there, and those memories I will never take back. I think they brought so much joy into my life. I loved my neighbors. I loved the growth that happened, the friends that I built, the neighbors that I was able to serve in the role that I had in that time, and all the things that I was able to do and experience. I won't take any of that back. Did I envision it? Nope. Did I listen to where I thought I should be going? I sure did. Did I know what that was going to look like? No.
Well, the thing is, like, the segue into that, because we last week, once we got off, and we're like, what are we going to talk about? And maybe if something comes along the way, along the week, and we shoot a message. I've been seeing so much show up externally with the word calling in it. And that's what made me message you about talking about either aligning with calling, as far as things just coming about, whether you're paying attention or not.
Yeah.
You know, was it a part of your plan or his plan? And all of those small pieces align with the call in which you've journeyed on since day one.
I think the pivotal moment for myself was realizing I had a really good friend up in North Jersey. We worked together. I would talk to her about what I was feeling. And I thought working at that job right out of school and having that opportunity, that was where I was going to land. I was going to be a lifer. That's what I thought from middle of high school on that I was going to be doing for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And when I had this, I wouldn't say like it was like a negative unsettling. I had this feeling that there was more, and there was another step that I needed to take. And I had no idea what that was or where that was. I think at that point, I just knew there was going to be a direction, and there were doors that shut. There were doors that I was not supposed to go down, and one that led to Philadelphia on my journey opened. I say the rest is history, but that was not at all in my plans, but it was in his plans. You may have heard this, the whole saying, you make plans and God laughs. You have all these plans. I'm going to do this and this, but if it's not through him and his will, he's like, okay. Right?
That's one of those cliche terms, again, that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Add it to the list. But it's a duh statement. And I think once you truly are integrated in the belief of the truth of that, it's just like, okay.
Yeah.
It's just interesting. I mean, it's all interconnected. I feel like I'm the most present I've ever been in my life as far as awareness to faith, belief, and self. I know it's only to go deeper, but it feels very eye-opening, just like, wow, awe-inspiring type energy. I don't even know what it is. It's because yes, it is community, and yes, it is our friendship, but it's also we all go through this if we pay attention, and how we're paying attention and giving it to him and trusting it with him. Answering the caller, how do you discern it?
I think those are good thoughts. When you sent that word over this week, talking about this part of my life and part of my journey and making those decisions, you go back to thinking, how did I know to choose that? How do you know if this is God's will or your will? How do you differentiate the two?
Right.
How do you just put your hands up and say, I fully trust you in what's next without you sitting in the passenger seat saying like, hey, I think we should make a left when God's driving. When you're younger, your responsibilities were a little bit less. And so it was a little bit easier than it is
Yeah.
now. This week was kind of spent some time on that. And I have some exciting things coming up and moving some things along. But 15 years ago, I think it would have been done in like 2 days.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I would have listened.
Listened to who or what or how?
So I don't think that I had the awareness in the faith and the trust that I do now. I look back and I see all the things that I've been involved with and built and the relationships and circumstances that put me to the point that I am now in making this next leap into this more faith-driven decision. We'll call it a hobby at this point. Path that I'm opening up in my life and really putting God in the driver's seat to see where it leads. I think I could have done the same thing 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But I don't think I was paying attention in the way that I needed to, that I am now back then. That's something this week that I was kind of reflecting on. I've always felt very strongly that I've known my calling. And I know there was something bigger meant based on my history of why I'm still having this conversation with you. So I've always known there was something, but I think I've always tried to drive what that something was. Now I'm in the point of my life that I am learning to let somebody else drive. And that somebody else I want in that driver's seat is the Lord.
Yeah. You brought in your driving analogy, and I've been thinking about the many times where it's one thing to make a wrong turn, but then to think, oh no, why is it telling me to go this way? Why would it tell me to go this way? I'm going to go this way. And then next thing you know, you're in traffic or some dumb stuff that you didn't foresee, but Waze had a way that was different. So it's that type of analogy has been sitting with me since the second you just said that. And there's so much truth to it. What does it look like to trust the way?
The other thing is like, I think I have a lot more grace with myself, not all the time. I'm not perfect with it, but more grace that it's not as black and white, right? Like it's my way or his way. And
you were talking about the gray,
right? And it's that gray, and it's okay to make a decision that you think is your next step in your journey. And it's the wrong way. You get caught up in traffic. You get caught up down a path that you're like, I just don't feel like this is the right spot for me to be in, and whatever that is. And it's okay to make a U-turn. It's okay that you might make a wrong choice. But I think if you're giving it to him from the beginning, he will show you the rerouted direction. Pay attention, rerouting, right? Like it will happen. You will get back on the path. And I think that's something I'm trying to reiterate to myself, especially as you get older, taking leaps of faith, if you will.
Yeah.
A little bit harder.
Yeah. You said giving yourself grace. And I was watching church sermon yesterday from Elevation Church in Charlotte. One thing I'd written down, it's yours, Lord. You gave it to me by grace, and I give it to you by faith. That grace feels so essential, but it's like grace for self because he's already given it to you, whether you know it or not. And it's that faith that you're giving up as you're receiving his grace. Like it's just that openness that is essential to moving forward in any and all things, especially the unknowns, the reroutes, the this or the that. And it feels like that sense of letting go of the reins. And that letting go of the reins, there's nothing but receiving.
I'm curious this week, because you said that word calling and this answering your calling and this idea has shown up like external to you. What does that look like? And then also, how do you feel like you're reacting towards that?
Yeah, if you would have asked me this question months ago, I would have had a different response then than I do now. The only reason why I have that different response now is because I'm going deeper within my faith and my trust. All those topics that we've already talked about are daily habits of surrender, letting go, And even that sense of letting go is like thinking of, okay, it's out of my mind, versus now that letting go is, how did he say it yesterday? He said, hold on to the promise, let go of the plan. In my mind, back then, the letting go was more of that black or white that you were talking about. It's the this choice or the that choice. And that's what was getting me caught up of, but I've gone all this time with this career, with all of these gifts. We talked about gifts last week a little bit. Like I've gone all this time with these things that are telling me or showing me my worth or what I'm identifying as my worth. The plan of it is no longer that plan anymore. But in my mind back then, it would have been, but I'm supposed to completely switch sides of the brain or something, or it's one or the other. It's not all of the above. It can and it is all of the above. But what is the plan within it that's supposed to continue forward? Because I do know, even though I don't know the tangible hows all the time, I do know 1,000,000% that it's growth, it's forward, it's deeper, it's evolving into something way bigger than I could even think of. So holding on to the promise and letting go of the plan, then it's like, oh, that feels like so duh to me, you know? But that's literally where I'm at right now. And as I told you via text when we were texting over the weekend, this new opportunity that's coming up, I don't think any other iteration of my life I would have gone down this road, but it's something that is exciting me because I think it's putting me more into depth of how I'm supposed to continue forward. And the ultimate purpose and calling is with community and healing communities. What does healing communities look like? It's not how I'm used to doing it anymore. The hands-on, see a client for an hour or be backstage at a show for 2 hours, 20-minute treatments, like that type of stuff is not the type of healing that it's only taking me to a certain extent. Now it's time to grow it out and manifest it in different ways. But then I doubt it because my thinking mind wants to give it a label. It wants to equate it, give it a measure of value versus actually the value is the heart value. It's the heart, it's the spirit, it's the soul that is what he's giving me and showing me. And so whenever I see it in different stuff and the different things that I've seen in the past couple of days, it's like, okay, how are they talking about it? And Furtick, who's at Elevation Church, he wasn't even talking about calling, but he's had a series on calling the past couple of weeks. And so this one was when God says, let go. The one thing that really hit me, and I thought of you, he said, the deeper the level of trust, the less the need for detail. I just got chills as I just said that. Yes. Yeah. Okay. All right, cool. We've talked about trust. That was one of our first topics.
Yeah.
Trust. And that's a daily practice too. But the deeper the level of trust, the less the need for detail. And when he said that, I'm like, why am I continuing to ask God to show me what the calling is? I even wrote that today. I said, I don't need to ask you anymore. Why am I asking you to show me when I trust you? So if I trust you, I don't need to know.
I have a reaction to that. And it's like, oh gosh, I hear it, I want it, but I don't know if I'm ready for it.
And that's the difference of letting go for me.
Yeah.
Like truly letting go. I've let go. Let me tell you, I've let go. But when he said that yesterday, that was like full letting go because I still want the details. I'm sitting here asking him every day, like, can you show me what's going? Like, I'm open. I'm ready to receive. Can you just like give it to me? I'm ready. I'm here. I'm waiting for you to be the burning bush with me. Like, let's go. And just that little bit of it feels naggy. Like I'm just trying to hold on just a little bit. Like, no, I trust you. I don't need to know. Okay, cool. So what's the one step in front of the other just today then? Great. Cool.
I think it's interesting when you were saying you give this, what are you labeling? What are you giving a label or a measure or value to? Your idea, your calling, what are you? Because I think you're okay. Yeah. Dive in a little bit more because I think that's common and that happens a lot.
Yeah. And I think, in any conversation that you have in life, it's built around culture. It's built around classism. It's built along all the things that have been historically rooted into the land as to who you are, where you're from, what do you do, what education do you have to show that you are of what you need to be in order to be there. It's that measure, taking out that measure as I am going completely left field off the beaten path. And there's no identity with it other than I am Angelica, I'm a child of God. And then maybe a couple of other things as far as being an African American woman and having these family members with me and friendships. That's the only true identifiers, indicators that show a measure. And then how I want to show up, and the measure is the heart. It's love. That's how I want to show up every day, is godlike fashion. That's a big heavy load to carry. Yes, I love, and yes, I'm giving, but as far as coming back to self and really digging out the nasty dirt and the roots and all that stuff that you were talking about, that spring cleaning type stuff. New soil, great. Let's grow from there. So those are the measures that I'm trying to get out of, because one, Joe and I are always all over the place. When we're meeting new people, having different conversations, it's what do you do? And it's not even like a hi. Well, yeah, you get a hi, how are you? But it's like, what do you do? But even then, so there is that measure that I'm trying to let go of, the need to show my worth and value and reshaping it. And that's the same with ideas too. The ideas that you have that I want to create those experiences that are holistic, that speak to the importance of community and what the arts can do for community and all of these different things. You work in the music industry and you have to be as popular and make as much money as Taylor Swift and Beyonce, and that's not reality. That's their reality, but that's not the overall reality. To continue to step out as yourself every day, you have to break those barriers, those identifiers, because otherwise those are going to be the ones that continue to keep you down. And they have in many different iterations in my career, even being an athletic trainer in a world where physical therapists are actually more readily used within the arts. So it's in breaking down those things, but also continuing to fill my belief and then step from there versus needing to measure up to something. So it's all of the above versus any one specific thing. But did I answer that? I feel like there's something else you asked me in that question that I may have missed.
No, I think you did. And I think I'm looking to take it through the journey, right? Because I'm going to break this down because this is my analytical self. But if you think about the start, right? The start doesn't need to be like a clean pictured self to show up to be like, okay, I have everything together. Now I'm ready. You don't need to show up to put space to feel like, okay, God, where are you calling me? Where, when, like whatever. It's his plan, his next steps. And it's like, you don't have to show up ready, put together. You can be in a space. I know for myself, you could be in a space that feels very uncomfortable. And then he's just like, hey, now it's time. Let's do this. Right. Yeah. And to your point, we know a lot of different versions of ourselves, right, over the years with our friendship. And it's like, you don't have to have your act together or feel like you have your act together to start listening and start feeling what that calling is. I'm just trying to picture this journey that you're on, and you will feel a nudge, like he will pull your heart somewhere.
Yep.
And that's to me what it almost feels like, right? You having the experience and seeing it around you externally, you're feeling that because you're listening, you're paying attention, you're having that faith forward approach in your next steps. And then going through, it's messy. Like you're saying, our conversation's a little bit all over the place because it is. Like it's not this black and white mentality that you and I are very comfortable in. You feel this way, your movement's here, I can fix that with XYZ. Like it is how we've been built. And it is also a gift. Like it's also a gift in our journey that he's blessed us with. And then it's like, how do we move through it? How do you move through it, and how do you keep listening? And what's the sustainable model for that? It's like, the start, the middle, and the end, but it's not as black and white as that.
No, because even if there is a stopgap to a next thing, it doesn't end. So yeah, it's all things and nothing at the same time.
I saw a picture that I thought was interesting. It was two pictures on top of each other. They're the same scenario. They were just different perspectives of it. Top picture was a biker, and here's the finish line. Here's the ground, here's the finish line. Same picture, same biker, same finish line, but it showed what was below it. And below it was like this path through water and up a cliff and over a broken bridge. That's the middle, right? Like it's the middle.
Where did you see that? I want to like blow that up and put it right here.
I'll have to go back and look, but I was just like, what I am hearing is, I mean, I'll speak for myself. I'm on that bike and I see God, right? I'm looking and I'm focused and I'm not perfect with it, but my focus is on Him. And I know whatever is on that path, if I keep my eyes focused, even if I stumble and I turn around and I'm just like, I didn't do a great job there.
Yeah.
He will show up for you, right? Yeah. He is there before you. He is there beside you. He will always be. And I think goes back to that Deuteronomy 31:8. It showed up again in my life this week. He will not forsake you. Like he will not abandon you. You're good. And I think when we talk about what our calling is and what, at least for me, what I've had pictured for myself, no, this is not what I had pictured. The life that I have is so much greater.
Yeah.
And I think giving Him that space to work in me and through me will allow it to be so much more than I ever thought it could be. So I say no.
I love that.
To the place that, is this what I pictured? But it's so much greater.
Yeah. I couldn't have imagined I'd be here where I am either at all. I'm more excited for life than I've ever been. In these past couple of months, I feel even just more zoomed in and locked in. And it's because I'm going deeper.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I really care about. I was like, if you want to pay me to just sit here and go deeper, let's go. That's heaven right there. Let's go.
That's so great. That brought me back to our first conversation that we had. Even I think before we've had this idea of bringing this to life, that concept on going deeper. And I remember you're like, I just don't know what that looks like, but it felt heavy for you. The excitement that's behind you saying that now excites me for you as your friend.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to bring that back because I remember us after your birthday connecting and you talking about that and mentioning that, almost saying the same sentence in a whole new light.
I think I was sitting in the car when we were on the phone. I remember feeling emotionally weighed down, heavy in it. Even though there was hope in it, it was just like, I've got no idea. What about this, the things that I think should be, and like those things are now just hanging out over here. If they're the pieces that are supposed to be coming in, then they'll come in, but I'm not going to control it. I don't have time for that.
Yeah, it's just so much bigger. It's like trusting that He literally will be there and take it. It takes a lot away. I'm definitely I wouldn't say I'm a worrier, but I'm definitely like, I have that heaviness at times. And so that's something to keep working on in my journey. It's like you go down that lane from when we first started connecting at the beginning of this year and then rolling this topic out, and the growth that I think we've both been on. It's just a lot of fun. It's not perfect.
No.
Comfortable.
And I'm so okay with that.
That's so good. I think this is one of those topics that it really needs a good amount of space to dive into.
Yeah.
As we're talking through it, it's just like, oh man, could we just stay on like the mess in the middle? Could we just stay on the hope of the future? How do you even know? How do you even begin this conversation with yourself? God, like, how do you even I don't know. This topic is very exciting.
The calling series that Stephen Furtick has done, this example that he gave yesterday was Abraham. When he was told to kill his son, but he was thinking that literally killing his son, and then it ended up not being to kill your son, but it's to show that his trust in God is fully there. And I think what I learned from yesterday was the truth of letting go. And being in the calling is literally being in the calling, in the wild, in the middle, like you were saying, in the mess. And it's going to find its way.
Yeah. I'm almost thinking like, how do you survive? Right? Like,
and so I feel like that's all I've ever been doing is surviving. But what if there's so much thriving in that though, as you just see it from his perspective?
It goes back to faith is remembering.
Faith is remembering. Thank
Good.
you.
This is good. I'm glad you brought this up this week. I think it's one of those topics I've always been passionate about. What is my purpose? What is my calling? What am I here to do? And I've always believed in a greater purpose for myself and why I'm here. I got that. I understood that from a conceptual perspective for a lot of my younger life as I'm moving to the later part of my 30s at this point. I feel it now. I think that's a really nice topic to talk about. I hope that for those listening, it just sparks that thought process. And I think there can be a lot to unpack here.
Yeah, I agree 100% as far as it sparking the thought process. And because you and I are both at those transition points and periods of just really diving deeper into what it is really supposed to be. And even though we don't know, but to ask the question of what my calling is or what is he showing me, it's a good question, but it's also just remembering of the faith and remembering of the trust and all of those deeper rooted things that are just going to continue to be the foundation, and everything else is just what it's going to be.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to evolve. It's going to look different. It's going to need to be unpacked 50 million times over. But yeah, it's the timing of that question, especially going from, oh, I'm just doing this to do this versus faith driven, purpose driven work. You have to dig into that question or dig into the topic of it. How do you dig into it? It's digging in through faith and trust. And then it's only up from there.
I just keep thinking of Dory and then just keep swimming.
Yeah, just keep swimming. That's the movie right there.
I really enjoyed this conversation today.
Take it with you as you continue to grow your stuff today, if you do, tomorrow, this week. I'm also in the process of all of this stuff that we're learning about ourselves, continuing to figure out about ourselves and integrating it in the ideas and the work that I'm here creating. And it's actually kind of exciting because even though I'm not a master of it and I'm not trying to be a master of any of it, but it's in us having these conversations where I'm like, there's a lot of us out here. And for those that have no idea, you don't need those. You need the education of faith-based living here.
Yeah, shout out.
So I appreciate our space here because it's only feeding me everywhere else.
Yes. Until next week.
As we bring today's journey to a close, we invite you to carry these reflections into your own wilderness moments this week.
Remember that growth rarely happens in comfortable spaces. It's in the questions, the uncertainty, and yes, even the doubts, where we often discover the essence of ourselves and our faith.
We're so grateful to have you walking alongside us on this path. Until next time, may you trust the journey, embrace the wilderness, and find God in the wild spaces. This has been Faith in the Wild podcast. I'm Angelica McCarthy.
And I'm Nicole Moran. Thank you for listening.
High five.
High five. Love your life.